Welcome to GLCast, the official podcast of GLProUK. GLProUK is a London-based creative studio. We work with a diverse range of companies, individuals and brands across multiple platforms to create a wraparound service for all your digital content creation requirements. My name is Greg Armstrong and I'm Head of Digital Marketing here at GLProUK. This episode is part 3 of the 3-part series Understanding Social Media for Your Business, where I'm joined by GLProUK Managing Director, Jay Lovegrove. This blog is titled Part 3, Hiring a Social Media Professional. To find the blog we're discussing, please visit our Facebook, Twitter at GLProUK or visit our LinkedIn page. Audio versions of the blog are available on this feed. Hiring a social media professional. So we've been talking about, from beginning to now, building social media for your company, finding your own voice, finding your audience, everything you will need.
Getting it right.
We've made it sound potentially, like it is, could be a lot of work if you're going to do it right and you're going to invest the right time and money. Not everyone has time to do it. No. A lot of companies do not have the time to be sit there on the computer, making posts, releasing them when they're trying to run a business. But at the same time, they know they really do need social media to help their business.
Well, it's a very laborious exercise to get right. Yeah. It's very easy to get it wrong.
100%.
And it's very time consuming. It's why marketing managers have always been employed. Because to market your business takes an awful lot of thought, and the strategy and everything can take an awful lot of time. Even those marketing managers now employ a social media expert, because this just takes so much time. Yeah. If you think, let's just say the big 3, people have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's statistics that say you should tweet 6 times a day. Yeah. So essentially every 4 hours. That way you're getting a catchment of when people log on around the world. And even then, you may miss those people who logged on 2 hours ago. So if you're saying 6 tweets a day, that's 30 tweets a week, a working week. Yeah. That's an awful lot of tweets.
That's a lot, yeah. And if you're doing it for somebody in-house in your business, you're still hitting those like Monday to Friday out days and those working hours. Just because you've got Pam from accountant sat down there putting out a couple of tweets a week, that's social media done. It's not, because it doesn't stop. As we mentioned before, you need strategy. You need something to continue. It's a lot of work.
They have to pull analytics. We've talked about there is no point doing this unless you're going to analyze what you're doing and see what does and doesn't work. That person is going to have to do that, analyze it, look through what they're doing well, look through what they're doing badly, and then inform the next bit of social media content that they actually create and sit down and write with the idea of this worked well last month, this didn't work well the next month. That alone.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the answer? I guess you hire someone.
Yeah, it's certainly the kind of role that needs someone to head up. It needs someone to be able to put their head around this all day long and understand it. I mean, we haven't even touched upon responding. Yeah. Actually, heaven forbid those tweets, the Facebook posts, the Insta posts that you put out are doing well and people are contacting you and talking to you. One of the most important things about social media is to be social, is to actually interact with your audience and talk to them. If they're going to go out of their way and interact with you, you have to be available.
And, this is obviously a whole bucket of worms I'm not even going to dive into, but as you've mentioned responses, we can't not mention this. When it comes to social media, a lot of the time people are finding you sometimes to be negative, to call you out, like on Twitter especially. All the time. People don't even use Twitter. If something's not right, my pizza wasn't delivered, or it came as the wrong pizza, it was that. The first thing people do rather than call them is get on straight on Twitter, or they phone and threaten to say on Twitter. How you deal with that is also just as important as how you would deal with a positive response.
Well, the thing is, I've seen it with restaurants in the past who have had horrendous reviews on something like TripAdvisor. Yeah. The way that the manager or whoever is running the social media for that business responds to that is incredibly important, because there is nothing more powerful than someone who was very upset, disappointed, or hated your brand. If you can turn them around to liking your brand, they will be the biggest proponent of your brand. Yeah. They will be the biggest follower. I used to hate those guys, but then it was just a bad night.
They were so good to me. Yeah,
they were so good to me. I had a bad meal. I sent them a problem, sent them a message. They responded well. They had me back in. Ever since then, they've treated me really well. I bring everyone there. I know that if there's a problem, they're going to resolve it. That's probably more powerful than people just being like, "Oh, it's great." Yeah. Because those 100%. People who are great aren't going to say that great narrative of, I didn't like it, but look how much I like it now. Without, using your social media in the correct way and it being managed in the right way, you can be really in danger of that not going well.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've seen it with an awful lot of big brands where someone loses it.
Yeah.
The person responding
Oh,
finally kind of loses their cool and ends up being like, that's it, and sending something horrific because they don't care.
And that's it. That stains you. Then you're tarnished.
Now, one of the problems with hiring people for social media is a lot of businesses tend to hand over all of their social media to the most junior member of the team.
Yeah. You're young. You know Facebook.
Sure.
Go.
And because you're young, you're going to get the lowest wage.
Yep.
You're the entry person. What do? You take care of that Facebook thing. What that's saying is that you're going to give the entire voice, the entire first. It's always been a case that the first impression is the lasting impression. You're going to give that the responsibility of the first impression that your company has, no matter how old or good the service is, to the most junior member of your team. The person who's still full of angst and is in their second relationship ever, and that person's just broke up with them, and I hate this and I hate that, and that you're going to trust that person implicitly. Because they get Facebook, I don't have to worry about that.
They've got 500 friends.
Yeah, they must be good at social media, right?
All their friends like the page. We're done.
This is it. That's all we need. Without thinking about, does this person understand the strategy? Does it understand our business? Are they going to look at who should respond to us, where our audience are, or can they just use Facebook? And one of the biggest sort of mistakes I see business make is essentially treating that junior member as their marketing manager because they're doing so much on social media, and there's so much to do on social media. But then they're sat in a position where there is no one else in the business who understands that job. It's a very, very dangerous thing to do.
So to solve that problem, should you hire like an in-house person, or do you outsource to an agency?
That's the question, right?
And I reckon, you think back to a few years ago, a lot of businesses would probably be like, "What? I'd hire in-house, so I have them on my wage. I know I completely control this person and what's going on the social media." But that doesn't always necessarily mean that you're getting everything you need. Whereas potentially the plus side of outsourcing to an agency is they are an agency, so you have a whole team at your disposal.
Well, let's throw some pros and cons at it. I guess if you're going to employ someone, the pro is that you can use them for other things outside of their job. You could use them for administration. They can help you at events. They can help you around the office. They can have a hybrid role where they're doing some of this and some of that, and that's fantastic. It's an incredibly useful thing, especially in small businesses where people have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
Really, really important to be able to say, I have an internal member of team who can do it.
Also, there's a security factor because, you're entrusting passwords and your money. If they're under your house, you're like, you know what? I trust you. I've hired you. You're the only person dealing with this. You have all the access to this. I'm still controlling it.
Now, I'd say the con of that is would you employ in any other area of your business, would you employ someone without knowing that you can help them? Especially a junior member of the team.
Right.
Would you employ a junior salesperson without a sales manager? Would you employ a junior administrator without someone to show them how the processes work? Yeah. So a lot of businesses can be in danger of employing a real junior member of, they're young, they understand face ache, or whatever you want to call it. We need that for our business. Go and send out tweets. Who manages them? Who's going to help them progress? Do you have a marketing manager? Does that marketing manager understand digital? Because unfortunately, right now, there's an awful lot of marketing managers who have been in the business for 20, 25 years.
Probably are top of the game of marketing.
Traditional marketing.
But throw digital in front of it.
No idea. No clue. And, especially when it comes to the intricacies, the pay-per-click, the Google AdWords, the Facebook advertising, hashtags, what hashtag's good, what hashtag's bad. Should we have a Facebook page or should we have a group?
And the biggest question, are hashtags relevant? Yes, no. Am I using them correctly?
More importantly, there's always a new fad.
Yeah.
There's always a new social media platform. Someone's always coming up with a brand new flavor. Well, that's great. The first people to jump on the brand new thing is probably going to be younger people.
Yeah.
because the rest of us are too stuck in our ways.
They can test it out first.
They can test it out first. If that younger member of your team is informing you and they're the expert, quote unquote expert, that you're relying on for that, then you might have the next brand new social media platform that they're spending all their time on, which may be no way relevant to your audience, and not speak to any of your irrelevant customers, or in any way get out in front of them, which means they're doing it because it's something that they like. Well, is that what you want? Is that the strategy that you're going for? Have they written a strategy?
Exactly, yes.
So I guess that's where the pro of a agency comes in. The difference is with an agency is, A, you know that there are a number of people out there who are, or hopefully if you get the right agency, there's a number of people looking into what is the new platform. They're researching, they're looking at where your audience could interact.
Advising you on what platforms best suit your business that you might not have even thought about. And also, you've not just got one guy sat there being like, yeah, maybe this one. You have an entire team at your disposal. And they're going to, like, first meeting, they're going to bring you at least a draft of a strategy for the first meeting.
Surely.
So they're already coming to you with a plan rather than sitting down and coming up from scratch. You want to get this off your hands as soon as possible if you're looking to hire someone.
Yeah.
So this is getting a whole team. That is a massive, massive pro.
Now people think that but they won't only be working for my business. That's a con, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
I don't think so. I think it's a pro because then that means that those people have experience. So if they're working with other companies in other industries and other places, they've seen things not work. They've seen things that work. And just because something didn't work for someone else, they can turn around and be like, listen, we had a client in a completely different industry try this thing, which didn't work at all because they ended up putting themselves right in front of your audience.
Yeah.
So we suggest that you do that, which is something that your internal person may never have stumbled upon because they're busy trying to just push out your business. Having that experience of working with a number of different clients and having to, wield social media to different clients and different audiences who interact in different places is so powerful to be able to hit the ground running with your business and take it exactly where it needs to be to the right people.
Exactly. That's very well put. And the whole team has the time and dedication to get it right for you. And bring it to you and liaise with you and be like, we're doing this. Are you okay with this? Yes, great. We're also going to try this. We're going to spend this on this advertisement. We're going to aim at these people. They can explain it strategically, break it all down, so you know where your money's going, what it's doing before you've even handed it over.
And, keep it, we've said
it's
it before.
It's not a wage, you're paying for a service at this point.
That's right. And also, we've talked about, the voice being right. If you employ one person, they may not be able to do the right voice. They just might not have it in them.
Yeah.
They might not have the funniness that you need or the seriousness that you need or whatever that is. Lovely thing is about an agency, if it's not working, they should have other people that they can pass it over to.
Yeah.
If you're not quite getting it right, then they should have other resources that they can pass over to get it right for your business. Now, the best thing about outsourcing, by a long, long way, is sickness.
Yeah.
Consistency is so important in social media. So important. If you have given your entire social media platforms to that junior member of your team, let's be honest, they're not getting paid that much. They may not love their career that you've given them. They've only been out of university, or maybe they haven't gone to university. They're just finding their feet in the job world. If they're great and they're posting, they're doing a fantastic job. What if the worst happens and that person gets sick? Who picks up for them? Does that go back to whoever in accounts having to send out a few tweets now and again and working out and they did this PPC thing, I don't know what that is, so we won't do that anymore. And all of a sudden, all the hard work that they've put into, if they're on, heaven forbid, any kind of long-term sick, is gone.
Or even worse, even if maybe they weren't doing it to the level you wanted or thought it was being done to, and they go sick, and then you're just like, well, maybe we're nowhere near where we thought we were. The posters are great, but now I look at it, I haven't got analytics for this. I haven't, now I'm even worse than I was before.
The great thing that an agency brings, especially to small businesses, is an entire marketing team.
Yes.
Right? It gives you that coverage that you may not have elsewhere. The experience from multiple members of teams working on lots of different brands and lots of different platforms to know what does and doesn't work, to know what's a failure. Where, they can't be sick. You'll fire them.
Yeah.
If they decide, if they say they're sick and they're going to stop posting for a month,
Yes.
You will fire them.
Our
and find
social
another
media
agency.
will not be working for a month while John goes travelling around Australia.
Brilliant.
Check out his Facebook, though, for his pictures on his Instagram.
Thanks again, John.
So if you are going to outsource, it is hard to figure out who you're going to get to outsource for you. What do you look for? Again, you're hiring someone to do this job, so what do you know?
And you're probably hiring them because you're not an expert.
Exactly, you're not an expert, so how do you know if they're experts? Anyone can read shop and be like, yeah, I know Facebook, I can do adverts. And some companies, if you went and sat down with them and made them a Facebook page and then posted something, some of them would be like, wow, we're on Facebook. And that is all it takes. But that won't last for long.
No.
That won't last for long.
So what ways do you use them? What ways can you look at, and especially an outsourced agency? And to be honest, these same things apply for an internal person.
Yeah.
This is just when looking for an expert, right?
I think it applies for almost any service or product out there. In fact, it almost completely mirrors what you talked about in the previous podcast about when you buy a product. You're looking for, first of all, testimonials.
Sure.
Same as looking for reviews.
Sure, I want to find out, I want a review of someone who's done a great job.
Yeah.
I want to know that they can do this, especially if it's something I don't understand.
Yeah.
So if I'm not a social media expert and I don't get this, I want other people to have said, I'm not an expert, but this person was.
Exactly. I want to see testimonials, video testimonials, written testimonials, real testimonials.
Now, if they don't have any testimonials, give me an example.
Yeah.
Show me. It doesn't matter if it's not if the business isn't in the same industry, but show me a brand or a business or a person where you have managed their social media platforms and has been successful.
Leads straight on to the next reason. Look at their social media platforms because you want to see what they're putting out and what they're going to be making for you. That's usually a good place to look. If you look at their Facebook, their Instagram, like, you know what, these posts are pretty good. They're engaging, they're getting comments, they're getting likes. This looks really good. That's what you want to be seeing from them as well.
Now, personally, I would use that, again, a little caveat to that. I would use that as one of the things you look at because let's go back to traditional ideas here. A builder's house is never finished, right? You get the best builder in the world. You go around to their place, something ain't done, right? There's a conservatory half finished. The patio's not done. You walk around their house and you're like, I'm not employing this guy. He can't even finish his own patio.
That's a good argument.
Maybe because they're out there killing it for other brands.
Yeah.
You know, their social media is so high with other brands, they don't have time to tweet themselves. Maybe they're a little bit done with it. They don't want to go home and say, great day at work because they've sent 15 tweets already. They've sent 10 Facebook posts. So it is a good way of looking, especially, I guess, at freelancers or agencies. It's a good way to look and see, you know, if they're doing a good job, is that something that you would want them to do for you? But not necessarily when hiring someone internally because they might be fantastic, but not do it personally.
Wow. Well, you mentioned freelancers there because there are many freelancers out there. But you got to remember, the title social media expert can be self-proclaimed.
Yeah, and listen,
by a savvy young spotty teenager.
Yeah, if
Doesn't have
someone
to be
calls
spotty.
themselves a social media guru or ninja, right? Just don't pick up the phone. No, I'm kidding. I see that so much. I see so many people who are essentially like slinging wizardry because you don't know. Right, you don't know. So look, here's loads of magic. I can do the Facebook stuff, and there is an element of that to anything. When you're not an expert, you have to kind of trust the guy. I know nothing about mechanics. I have to turn up to a mechanic and be like, "Can you fix it?" And they go, "Well," and I'm like, "Great. I'm gonna have to say yes. I'm gonna have to say yes, but I don't because I get a second opinion." And look at someone else. You know, I can make informed opinion even when I don't know anything about the inner workings of it. Social media is no different. If it's a freelancer, go and look at what they've done.
Exactly. Do your research. Do your background research on them. 100%.
Of course. In anything that you do, don't just go and spend money blindly because someone says they can do a job. That would be silly. That would quite frankly be silly. You wouldn't just find someone in the street and be like, "Hey, can you paint? Because my house needs painting."
And they're like, yeah, sure, okay.
I'm the best painter in the world.
Didn't you know?
Okay, great. Come paint my house.
But on the same, if you're going to hire a corporate agency, you also, and they could be, you know, they could look the part, be great, but you need to look at the, you know, they're not just offering you a generic package that offers no customization. You also got to watch out for, they might come to you and say, look at this great package, we'll give you this, this, and this. And you're like, cool, great. you don't want to get hooked into that straight away, because when you get going, you might be like, actually, we need to do this. And they're like, whoa, actually, that wasn't part of the original package plan.
I think you'll find if you look at the contract.
Yeah, I think you'll find you're completely off. We're not doing that at all. Well, can we put up these fights? No. Like,
now, that's one of the more enticing thing about having an internal member of the team. Yeah. Because you know that they will understand your brand, understand your business, and it will be a bespoke service. It will be a specific service which is tailored to yourselves. But I'd personally say that any agency worth their salt, any freelancer worth their salt will do that as well, because social media isn't something that comes out of the box.
No.
It has to be tailored to you and your business, because it has to be tailored to your audience. It can't be, we always run a Pinterest page. Right. Because my audience don't talk to that. I don't want to pay you to do that. That doesn't make sense unless you can, as an expert, explain why you should have that, in which case, fine. I'm not an expert, explain it to me. But, every single person I've ever worked with digital marketing has had a very different service.
Yes.
Because I've never worked with two businesses in my entire career who want the same thing. Because if it's two businesses who want exactly the same thing, okay, they might, but they're direct competitors. They still do different stuff. They still have a USP that the other guy doesn't have. What's your unique selling point? Oh, I do this thing. Okay, cool, great. We should talk about that. We should talk about that to your audience in this way.
Let's adapt that. Let's make that accessible to everyone. Let's make that something they can get on board with. And be like, wow, that's what makes these guys stand out from the other guys.
And that's what makes social media work, is by putting it, is understanding your audience and putting, having the right voice and putting it in front of them in the right way that they're going to interact with that. And that is what your social media expert needs to do.
And you need to find that expert or experts.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, just like me when I'm looking for the mechanic, if you can't find that social media expert, or if you can't help them, you might have to go and pick up a book. You might have to go on Google and learn a little bit about...
it might even boil down to you can find them, but you just like, I don't want to pay X amount. I don't want to hire this person. I think I could do it myself. By all means, try it yourself.
It's fun.
It's fun. It is fun, as long as you've got the time and the commitment to do it. But as Jay just said there, you're probably going to have to pick up a book or go do a course. You're going to have to invest time and money in yourself to become that person that you won't hire or can't find.
Ultimately, we know your business needs a social media expert. Hire them, find an agency, outsource, or become that expert yourself.
Good luck. Thanks for listening to GLCast. Be sure to follow at GLProUK on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and find us on our LinkedIn page. Thank you.